The text came at 7:42 in the morning. Dad, you owe me this. My name is Gregory Taylor, 61 years old, retired union electrician, Columbus, Ohio. That text? From my son, Evan, 38, licensed architect, makes $135,000 a year. He wanted me to pay off his mortgage, $1,200,000. His reason? I'd helped his sister with fertility treatments 5 years ago, $65,000. So now I owed him equal treatment, he called it. I read his message twice. Then I typed back one word, no. He sued me 22 days later. The local paper ran it as front page news. My phone exploded. His wife posted online about cutting off toxic parents. Neighbors whispered behind my back. But I had something he didn't know about. A red binder, 11 years of receipts, $290,000 in documented gifts, every text, every bank transfer, every time he called me just a tradesman. Stick with me on this, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I believe you'll want to see how this ends, because what happened in that courtroom? My son learned that the electrician he looked down on had built a case even his architect brain couldn't escape. This is the story of how a blueprint became a weapon, and how one word changed everything. But I should have seen it coming. There were two moments, two red flags I explained away because he was my son. The first was May 16th, 2009, Evan's college graduation, Ohio State, architecture degree. I'd paid $89,000 toward his tuition over 4 years. $89,000. Every semester, bank transfer, memo line, tuition, gift. I came straight from a job site that morning. Didn't have time to change. Work boots, jeans with drywall dust on the knees. Sat in that auditorium with my hands still dirty from pulling wire. Evan gave the student speaker address, talked about vision, about designing the future. Thanked everyone who believed in his potential. Thanked his professors, his roommate, his girlfriend. He thanked financial support. No name, just financial support. I told myself he was young, proud, it was fine. But I kept the bank transfer receipts anyway. The second moment was July 23rd, 2020, middle of COVID. Evan called with a startup idea, architecture software, virtual reality walkthroughs. He needed $50,000 seed money. I said yes immediately. Same way I helped Daria, son. I'll invest. His text response came 3 hours later. Thanks, but I don't take handouts from a tradesman. I need real investors who understand tech. Handout. From a tradesman. I was sitting in my truck outside Lowe's when I read it. Read it 5 times. Felt something crack in my chest. Didn't respond. Just saved the screenshot. The startup failed 8 months later. February 21st, he never mentioned it again. Never apologized. Looking back, the pattern was everywhere. 2015, his wedding. He introduced me to his new in-laws. This is my dad. He does electrical stuff. Electrical stuff. 30 years in Local 683. Master electrician license. But sure, electrical stuff. 2018. He bought his first condo. Asked me to wire it. I did. $4,200 worth of work. Free. Wedding gift, I called it. He posted on LinkedIn about building my own space. Got 200 likes. Never mentioned who built it. 2021, the big one, his dream house project. Custom build. 4,800 square feet. Gated community in Westlake. He showed me the blueprints. Dad, can you mark up where the electrical should go? You're better at this than anyone. I spent 16 hours on those plans. Every outlet, every switch, every circuit load, every code requirement. Made sure it would pass inspection. Then I wired the entire house. 3 weeks. June 2022. Worked alone. 120 hours of labor. Estimated value $18,500. I called it a wedding gift. He'd just married Natalie in May. October 2022, Architectural Digest. Columbus ran a feature. Evan Taylor, designer. Beautiful photos. His face in every shot. My electrical design, my labor? Not mentioned, not once. Father's Day 2023. Evan sent me a $40 Applebee's gift card via email. No note. That same week I sent him $5,000. His text said his HVAC died. Emergency, he said. My daughter Daria called me December 10th. Dad, Evan doesn't respect you. He respects your wallet. Please stop giving him money. I defended him. He's my son. He'll come around. She was quiet for a long time. Then, Dad, I love you, but you're wrong. I didn't listen. March 19th, 2024. 5 years since my wife died. I visited her grave. Stood there for an hour.
and I heard her voice in my head, clear as day. "Greg, I would have drawn the line years ago. Stop confusing love with rescue." I drove home, pulled out that red binder I'd been keeping, started adding everything, every text, every bank statement, every receipt. I didn't know I was building a legal case. I thought I was just protecting myself from forgetting how much I'd tried. But deep down, I knew. I knew something was coming. So when that text arrived, August 9th, 2024, 7:42 in the morning, I wasn't surprised. What I was, scared. Because if I said yes, here's what it would cost. My retirement accounts, $890,000, saved over 35 years. Every overtime shift, every side job. My home, $280,000 in equity. 1948 bungalow in Clintonville, paid off in 2017. Rewired the entire place myself.
My business share, $150,000, Taylor and Sons Electric, 40% ownership. The math was simple. If I paid Evans' $1.2 million mortgage, I'd have to drain my retirement, sell my business stake, and take a loan against my house. I'd be broke, at 61 years old. No time to rebuild. I sat at my kitchen table at 2 in the morning, August 1st, yellow legal pad, running the numbers over and over. And I realized if I said yes, I'd work until I died, and in 5 years he'd asked for more. But it wasn't just money. August 2nd, Evan texted, "You'll never see Mason and Harper again if you don't help us. My grandkids, 6 and 4 years old, weaponized." Daria called me August 5th, crying, "Dad, I love my brother, but if you give in, I'll support you. I'll also know you're choosing his greed over your dignity." Natalie posted on TikTok August 8th, 22,000 followers. Setting boundaries with financially abusive boomer parents. Red flag emoji. Didn't name me, didn't have to. Sunday, August 11th. I sat in my church pew at St. Mark's Lutheran. 28 years I'd been going there. Wired their kitchen for free in 2003. Fixed the organ electrical in 2015. And I heard whispers. Saw the looks. "Did you hear about Greg? Won't help his own son. Shame." I kept thinking, what if I am the bad guy? What if I'm being selfish? But then I remembered something. 35 years teaching apprentices at Local 683. I always told them, if you don't stand by your work, it falls apart. Was I standing by my work as a father, or was I enabling failure? Our union motto? We build it right, or we don't build it at all. I thought about teaching Evan to change a light fixture. He was 10 years old. I told him, measure twice, cut once, son, and never let anyone tell you your work doesn't matter. Now he was telling me my work, my life, didn't matter unless it came with a check. August 12th, evening. I called Daria. "If I pay him," I said, "I'm teaching Mason and Harper that love is ransom. I won't do it." Silence. Then I'm with you, Dad. Whatever you need. I made a private vow that night. I wasn't going to fight dirty. I was going to fight like an electrician. Show my work. Prove every connection. Let the current speak for itself. I had something Evan didn't know about. 4 men who'd taught me that loyalty isn't blood. It's who shows up when the lights go out. 3 days later, Evan's lawyer sent the demand letter. And I made one phone call, August 15th, 2024, 9:15 in the morning. FedEx truck pulled up. Signature required. The driver looked uncomfortable handing me the envelope. Hoffman and Associates, Columbus, 12 pages. I sat on my porch steps and read every word. The lawyer's name was Nathan Hoffman, mid-tier firm. His letter said Evan had 3 legal claims. 1, promissory estoppel. My old texts and Father's Day cards created reasonable expectation of financial support. 2, unjust enrichment. I'd benefited from Evan's success. His reputation made people respect me more. 3, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Refusing to help was elder abuse in reverse. I read that last one twice, elder abuse in reverse. The demand, $1,200,000 for the mortgage balance, plus $150,000 for emotional damages. Total, $1,350,000. I had 10 business days to respond or face a lawsuit. The tone, condescending. "We understand this is difficult for someone of your limited legal understanding." My hands shook. First time since my wife's funeral. I read it again. Then I put it on my kitchen counter and stared at it for an hour. I didn't panic. I read. August 15th and 16th. 48 hours. I went to the public library. I don't have internet at home. The librarian helped me access legal databases. Nice woman. I'd wired her house in 2012. I looked up promissory estoppel. Found out it requires 3 things: a clear promise, reliance on that promise, An injustice if the promise isn't kept. Then I pulled out my records. Every gift I'd ever given Evan was labeled gift in the bank memo line. Every single one, and I had something else. Something I'd forgotten about. June 12th, 2018. When Evan bought his first condo, I'd asked him to sign a letter, notarized. It said, I, Evan Taylor, acknowledge all prior financial support from my father Gregory Taylor has been given as gifts, not loans, with no expectation of repayment or further support. He'd signed it casually. Didn't think it mattered. I sat at that library table with my yellow highlighter, filling a notepad with rebuttals. He built his case on Father's Day cards. I built mine on notarized documents. We're not the same. August 17th, 3:42 p.m. I sent an email to Nathan Hoffman, copied Evan. Subject: Demand letter, Taylor v. Taylor. Body: No. Signature: Gregory Taylor, Local 683, retired. One word. That's all I gave them. I called Daria that night, told her what I'd done. She was silent for 5 seconds. Then, Dad, I'm proud of you. Evan's text came at 4:01 p.m. You're making a huge mistake. This will destroy you. I didn't reply. Just took a screenshot, added it to the binder. August 18th. Daria was visiting our mother's grave. Evan was there too, on the phone with a friend. He didn't see her. She texted me immediately after. Dad, I just heard Evan on the phone. He was laughing. He said, the old man thinks he can win. He's got maybe 500,000 total. I'll bleed him dry in discovery. He'll settle in 30 days. His friend asked, what if he fights? Evan said, he won't. He's a sparkler. He doesn't understand how the real world works. Daria was crying when she texted me. Angry tears. He's underestimating you. Don't tell him anything. Let him walk into the trap. August 18th, 6:30 p.m. I called Patricia Moore, estate attorney, 48 years old, sharp as a razor. Patricia, it's Greg Taylor, Bill's friend. I heard, she said. I was waiting for you to call. Bill Moore, her father, my union steward, died in 2018. I'd paid for his funeral when Patricia's family couldn't afford it, wired their house for free during his chemo treatments. I need help, I said, but I can't pay much up front. Greg, she said, you paid for my dad's funeral. You wired our house for free when we had nothing. Send me everything. I'll invoice you after we win. I was sitting in my truck in a Walmart parking lot, streetlight casting shadows across the dashboard. I cried. Silent. First time in 5 years. Thank you, I whispered. I sent her the red binder that night, all 247 pages. Scanned at FedEx. Took 3 hours. She called me back at 11 p.m. She said 3 words. He's already lost. Patricia asked me to describe the binder. It's a 3-ring binder, I said. Red cover, 3 inches thick, 247 pages. What's in it? I walked her through it. Tab 1, bank transfers, 2010 through 2024, 89 transactions. Total, $290,184. Tab 2, notarized documents. That 2018 gift acknowledgement letter. Evan's signature clear as day. Tab 3, text messages, printed screenshots, 2015 through 2024, organized by year. Tab 4, IRS gift tax returns, Form 709, filed every single year. Legal proof these were gifts, not loans. Tab 5, invoices for free labor. My own estimates. 2018 condo, $4,200. 2022 house, $18,500. Why does this exist, Greg? Patricia asked. My wife, I said. Before she died, she always told me, write it down, Greg. Memory fades. Ink doesn't. The binder sits in a fireproof safe in my bedroom closet, next to her wedding ring, next to my union card. Is there anything else in that safe? Patricia asked. I hesitated. One more envelope, but I'm not ready to talk about that yet. Greg, she said, you mentioned 4 brothers on the phone. Tell me about them. I took a breath. When I was coming up through my apprenticeship, 4 journeymen took me under their wing. Bill Moore, your dad, Ed Harris, Tom Baker, Jerry Coleman. My voice cracked saying their names. They didn't have kids, I continued. I don't know, the son they didn't have. What happened to them? They died, 2016 through 2021. Cancer, heart attack, stroke, accident. And? I was their emergency contact, all 4 of them. I handled their estates, paid for Bill's funeral, visited Ed in hospice every week for 8 months. Greg, Patricia said softly, what did they leave you? Something I didn't ask for, didn't expect. It's sitting in an account I haven't touched. How much? I closed my eyes. Enough that Evan would choke on his blueprint if he knew. She didn't push. Smart woman. Do you have proof of the free electrical work? She asked. Better, I said. I have the blueprint. I told her the story. 2021. Evan designing his dream house. He asked me to mark up where the electrical should go, said I was better at it than anyone. I spent 16 hours annotating that blueprint. Every outlet, every switch, every circuit load, every code requirement. Evan used my work to get permits, to pass inspections. Then I wired the entire house. 3 weeks, 120 hours. He called it a wedding gift. Architectural Digest called him designer. Never mentioned me. I kept the original blueprint, I said. Evan's signature is in the corner. Dad, you're a lifesaver. Patricia was quiet for a moment. Then, that's not a gift, Greg. That's a $20,000 invoice he never paid. We're filing a counterclaim. I don't want his money, I said. I want him to see it in court. He will, she said. And when we unroll that blueprint in front of the judge, he'll realize who the real architect of his life was. August 19th, 2024. Evan filed the lawsuit. Franklin County Court. Case number 24 CV 5832. Claims $1,350,000. The Columbus Dispatch picked it up the next day, August 20th. Online edition. Headline: Local architect sues father for $1.2 million over alleged broken promise. The article said, Evan Taylor, 38, a licensed architect, claims his father Gregory Taylor, 61, a retired electrician, promised to always support him financially. The lawsuit cites text messages and greeting cards as evidence. Gregory Taylor could not be reached for comment. I found out from my neighbor. 7 a.m. Tom knocked on my door holding the newspaper. Greg, he said, looking uncomfortable. Are you okay? I saw the news. I waved him off. I'm fine, Tom. Thanks. My phone started ringing. Old coworkers, church friends, Daria, panicked. I told everyone the same thing. It'll work itself out. I didn't read the article. Didn't respond to press requests. 3 reporters called. I hung up. Natalie went into overdrive. August 20th, 11 a.m., first post. Photo of Evan at their kitchen table, head and hands. Staged, obviously staged. Caption: When your family weaponizes money to control you. Heartbroken emoji. Setting boundaries is hard but necessary.
Toxic people don't get to hide behind the family label. #boundaries. #toxic family. #healing. 1,200 likes. 340 comments. Most of them supportive. You're so brave. Family isn't always blood. Cut them off. August 21st, 9 p.m., second post. Throwback photo of their house. The 4,800 square foot McMansion I'd wired for free. Caption: We built this dream with our hands and a lot of tears. Some people want to see us fail, but we rise. Prayer hands emoji. Sparkle emoji. #resilience. #gratitude. #toxic parents survivor. 890 likes. Some comments were skeptical. Wait, isn't this about him asking his dad for money? But Natalie didn't respond to those. August 22nd, 2 p.m., third post. Photo of Natalie with Mason and Harper, the kids smiling, unaware. Caption: Protecting my babies from generational trauma.
Breaking cycles. Muscle emoji. #boundaries. #gentle parenting. #breaking generational trauma. 1,500 likes. 280 comments. Daria screenshotted all 3 posts. Texted them to me August 22nd, 8 p.m. I read them once. Then I texted back, Let her talk. Words don't hold up in court. Documents do. Sunday, August 25th. 10 a.m. service, St. Mark's Lutheran. I walked in alone. Daria had offered to come. I said no. The atmosphere was different. A woman in the lobby saw me, then looked away quickly, pretended to check her phone. A couple I'd known 15 years gave me a tight-lipped smile. Didn't stop to chat like they usually did. After the service, Pastor Jim approached. Greg, he said quietly, I heard about the situation. My door is open if you need to talk. Thanks, Jim. I'm okay. Truth has a way of surfacing. In the parking lot, I heard 2 women talking near their cars. 50s. Didn't see me. I heard he refused to help his son buy a house. Well, I heard the son already makes 6 figures. Why does he need Dad's money? Still, it's his son. You'd think... I sat in my truck for 10 minutes before starting the engine. 30 years I'd been going to that church, wired their kitchen for free, fixed their organ, and now they were wondering if I was the bad guy. August 25th through 27th. Columbus Community Forum on Facebook. 12,000 members. Someone posted anonymously August 25th. Does anyone know Greg Taylor, the electrician being sued by his son? What's the real story? The comments exploded. I know Evan. He's a good guy. Dad must have done something. I worked with Greg at Local 683. He's solid. This smells off. Why is a retired electrician refusing to help his own son? Boomers are so selfish. My dad was a tradesman. He gave us everything. This Greg guy sounds heartless. But then, wait, architect's son makes $135,000 and needs dad to pay his mortgage? That's weird. One of Evan's friends posted August 26th, I've known Evan for 15 years. His dad was emotionally absent. This is about more than money. Then one of my union brothers posted August 27th, I worked with Greg Taylor for 20 years. If he said no, he had a damn good reason. Y'all don't know the whole story. The thread devolved. 180 comments. Moderators locked it. August 28th. Daria showed me on her phone. I don't have Facebook. Let them talk, I said. Patricia says silence is strength. August 28th. 6 p.m. Knock on my door. 3 union brothers. Danny Wilson, 64, retired. Carl Brown, 58, still working. Pete Davis, 61, disabled. We heard what's going on, Danny said. We're here to tell you we got your back. Danny's wife sent a casserole. Carl brought a case of beer. Pete brought something more valuable. If you need character witnesses, we'll testify. We sat on my back porch. September dusk. Didn't say much. Just present. That night, I told them about the 4 brothers who'd left me money. Carl said, Greg, that's not luck. That's loyalty. And Evan's about to learn the difference. October 30th, 2024, 9 a.m., Franklin County Courthouse, Judge Rebecca Chen's chambers. I wore a clean work shirt, khakis, my good boots, Evan's side of the table, Evan in a suit, Natalie in Lululemon, Nathan Hoffman with a leather briefcase, 3 character witnesses, college friends named Ryan Smith, Justin Moore, and Kyle Anderson. My side, just me and Patricia Moore. Natalie whispered to Evan, loud enough for me to hear, He didn't even bring anyone. This'll be over by lunch. Evan laughed. Confident. Judge Chen was in her 50s. No nonsense. Family court veteran. She'd seen everything. This is a pre-trial hearing, she said. Purpose is to determine if this case proceeds to trial or gets dismissed. Let's begin. Nathan Hoffman stood. Your Honor, this is a case about broken promises and parental favoritism. He laid out a timeline. Greg paid $65,000 for daughter Daria's IVF treatments, 2021 through 2022. My client, Evan Taylor, deserves equal treatment, Hoffman said. He's requesting similar financial support. He presented evidence, Father's Day cards from 2010, 2015, and 2018. I'd written things like, I'll always be there for you, and I'm so proud of you, son. Text messages from 2012 through 2020. Times I'd said, let me know if you need anything. A Facebook comment from 2019. I'd written on Evan's post, so proud of you. Sky's the limit. These constitute an implied promise of ongoing financial support, Hoffman argued. Mr. Taylor Sr. has repeatedly helped his daughter but refuses to help his son. This is discriminatory and emotionally abusive. Then he called his character witnesses. Ryan Smith. Evan told me his dad always favored Daria. Justin Moore. Greg seemed distant at Evan's wedding. Kyle Anderson. Evan works hard. He deserves family support. Patricia cross-examined briefly. Did any of you witness actual financial discussions between Greg and Evan? All 3. No, but Evan said. Thank you, Patricia said. No further questions. I sat there taking notes on my yellow legal pad. No expression, no reaction. Evan leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, slight smirk on his face. Patricia stood, calm, surgical. Your Honor, this case is about documentation, not sentiment. And we have documentation. She placed the red binder on the table. It made an audible thunk. This contains 247 pages of evidence spanning 15 years. Judge Chen, summarize, please. Mr. Greg Taylor gave his son $290,184 between 2010 and 2024. Every dollar is documented, every transfer labeled gift, every year reported to the IRS on Form 709. She pulled out the IRS forms, slid them to the judge. These prove legal gifts, not loans. No repayment expected, no promise made. Then Patricia pulled out the notarized letter from June 12, 2018. When Mr. Evan Taylor purchased his first property, Mr. Greg Taylor asked his son to sign this acknowledgement. She read aloud, I, Evan Taylor, acknowledge that all prior financial support from my father Gregory Taylor has been given as gifts, not loans, with no expectation of repayment or further support. Signed, notarized, dated. Evan's face went pale. He whispered to Hoffman,
I forgot about that. Hoffman flustered. Your Honor, that was 6 years ago. Circumstances change, Patricia. Circumstances changed.
Promises didn't, because there were no promises. Plaintiff claims his father favored his sister, Patricia continued. Let's examine that. She pulled out a timeline. Daria struggled with infertility, 2019 through 2022. Mr. Taylor paid $65,000 for IVF treatments. But she pulled out text messages. In 2020, Mr. Taylor offered Evan $50,000 for his startup idea. She read Evan's reply aloud. Thanks, but I don't take handouts from a tradesman. I need real investors who understand tech. Patricia looked at the judge. Evan refused help out of pride. Daria accepted help out of need. That's not favoritism, Your Honor. That's choice. Evan's jaw clenched. Natalie grabbed his hand. Your Honor, Patricia said, there's one more piece of evidence. She reached into her bag, pulled out a cardboard mailing tube, unrolled a large blueprint on the table. It was the architectural plan for Evan's house. Covered in my handwriting. Red pen annotations, outlet placements, circuit loads, code requirements, my neat, precise technical notes all over it. In the corner, Evan's signature. Dad, you're a lifesaver. In 2021, Patricia explained, Evan asked his father, a master electrician with 35 years' experience, to design the electrical system for his custom home. Mr. Taylor spent 16 hours on this blueprint. Then he spent 3 weeks wiring the entire house. She presented my own invoice, my estimate of the work's value. Design consultation, $2,500. Labor, 120 hours at $85 per hour, $10,200. Materials at wholesale cost, $5,800. Total value, $18,500. Patricia turned to Evan. Mr. Taylor, did you pay your father for this work? It was a gift, Evan said. He offered. Did you thank him? Pause. Yes, I'm sure I did. Patricia pulled out a magazine. Architectural Digest Columbus, October 2022. This feature about your home lists you as designer Evan Taylor. Your father isn't mentioned. Not once. He did the electrical, Evan said. I did the architecture. Who made the architecture legal? Patricia asked. Who ensured it passed inspection? Who made it livable? Silence. Mr. Hoffman, Judge Chen said, does your client have a response? Your Honor, these are separate issues. They're not separate, Patricia said. They're the pattern. Evan takes, Greg gives. Evan dismisses, and now Evan sues. The blueprint lay spread across the table, my handwriting visible to everyone. Evan stared at it like he was seeing it for the first time. Your Honor, Patricia said, we have one witness, Daria Taylor Rodriguez, Mr. Greg Taylor's daughter. The courtroom door opened. Daria walked in, 40 years old. Still wearing her RN scrubs. She'd come straight from her shift at Riverside Hospital. Evan's eyes went wide. He whispered to Hoffman, what is she doing here? Daria sat in the witness chair. Patricia's questions were direct. Daria, your father paid for your IVF. How much? $65,000. 3 rounds. 2021 through 2022. Did he have to? No, I didn't ask. He offered. He said, let me do this for you. Did you pay him back? Daria nodded. Yes, $30,000 so far. $500 a month since January 2023. I insisted. He didn't want me to, but I did anyway. Evan's head snapped toward Daria. What? Did your brother know you were repaying your father? No, Dad didn't tell anyone. He said it was between us. Why are you here today? Daria's voice was steady, strong. Because my brother is lying. Dad didn't favor me. Dad offered Evan the same help in 2020, $50,000 for his startup. Evan said no. He said, and I quote, I don't take handouts from a tradesman. I was there. I heard it. Why do you think Evan is suing? Because he's entitled. He thinks Dad owes him a lifestyle. But Dad doesn't owe him anything. Dad already gave him everything. Hoffman tried to cross-examine. Miss Rodriguez, isn't it true you and your brother have a strained relationship? We did, Daria said, because I saw this coming. I warned Dad 2 years ago. Evan doesn't respect you. He respects your wallet. I was right. Evan stood up. Daria, how can you do this? Judge Chen's voice cut through. Mr. Taylor, sit down. Evan sat, face red, hands shaking. Daria's hands stayed folded in her lap, wedding ring catching the light. Her voice never wavered. Nathan Hoffman tried a desperate pivot. Your Honor, even if the gifts were legal, the fact remains. Mr. Greg Taylor has the means to help his son. He's simply choosing not to. Judge Chen looked at me. Mr. Taylor, what is your current financial situation?
I stood, first time I'd spoken. Your Honor, I'm a retired electrician. I have retirement savings, a paid-off home, and a small business stake. Hoffman jumped in. See? He has resources. Patricia interrupted. Your Honor, may I? Judge Chen nodded. Mr. Taylor also has $1,600,000 in a trust account. The courtroom went silent. Then gasps, audible reactions. Evan whispered to Hoffman, loud enough for me to hear. He has what? Patricia continued. Money left to him by 4 union brothers who had no children. They named Greg as their pension beneficiary because he cared for them when they were dying. Bill Moore, Ed Harris, Tom Baker, Jerry Coleman. She paused. Greg hasn't touched that money. He's keeping it in trust to donate to the union's apprenticeship fund, because that's who he is.
Judge Chen looked at Evan.
Her expression shifted. So let me understand, she said slowly. You make $135,000 a year. You're suing your father, who visited dying men in hospice, who wired your house for free, who gave you $290,000 over 15 years, because he won't pay your mortgage? Evan opened his mouth. Your Honor, it's not... I've heard enough. I'm issuing a ruling from the bench. Judge Chen closed the file in front of her. The sound echoed. Mr. Evan Taylor's claims are without merit. The evidence shows 1. All financial support was documented as gifts, reported to the IRS, and acknowledged by the plaintiff in a notarized letter. 2. The plaintiff refused equivalent support in 2020, negating any claim of favoritism. 3. The plaintiff's attempt to use greeting cards and casual texts as promissory evidence is legally insufficient. She looked directly at Evan.
This case is dismissed with prejudice.
Mr. Evan Taylor will pay Mr. Greg Taylor's legal fees in the amount of $8,500. Evan stared at the table, face drained of color. Natalie started crying, quietly, shoulders shaking. I exhaled slowly, nodded once, didn't smile. Judge Chen leaned forward. Mr. Taylor, I want to say something off the record, but on the record. Pause. Your father gave you nearly $300,000. He wired your house for free. He showed up, and you thanked him by calling him just a tradesman and suing him. I hope you learned something from this. Evan said nothing. Judge Chen closed the folder with finality. Patricia stood. Your Honor, before we adjourn, we're filing a counterclaim. Evan's head snapped up. What? Patricia handed a document to the clerk. Mr. Greg Taylor provided $18,500 worth of skilled labor for Mr. Evan Taylor's home in 2022. This was called a gift at the time, but given the plaintiff's argument that familial financial support creates legal obligation, we're asserting the same standard? She looked at Hoffman, then at Evan. If Evan thinks Dad's old promises create debt, then Evan's acceptance of free labor creates debt too. The counterclaim amount? $18,500 plus interest. Total, $19,800. Judge Chen smiled slightly. Counselor, that's creative. It's consistent, Your Honor. We're simply applying the plaintiff's own logic. I'll allow it. Mr. Hoffman, your client now has 30 days to respond to the counterclaim. Hoffman flustered. Your Honor, this is fair? Judge Chen said. Yes, it is. See you in 30 days. Evan whispered to Hoffman, panicked. Can she do that? Hoffman picked up the document like it was contaminated. Apparently. Courthouse hallway, 1:15 p.m. Evan approached me.
Natalie was pulling his arm, trying to stop him. Dad, I held up my hand. Don't. I didn't think you'd... I know, I said. Calm, not angry. You didn't think. You assumed. You assumed I was weak. You assumed I'd roll over. You assumed I didn't know my worth. Pause. I loved you enough to say no. I hope someday you understand that. So that's it, Evan said. We're done? That's up to you. When you're ready to apologize, really apologize, not just, I'm sorry you're upset. My door is open, but my wallet is closed. You're really going to make me pay the $19,800? No, I said. You're going to choose to pay it, because it's what you owe. I walked away. My boots echoed in the hallway. Daria caught up to me, linked her arm through mine. We didn't look back. Patricia's car. Courthouse parking lot, 5 minutes later. You okay? She asked. Yeah, tired, but okay. You know he might pay the counterclaim just to make this go away? I know, but it's not about the money. It's about him seeing the invoice, seeing that my work had value. Patricia nodded. For what it's worth, I think you just taught him the hardest lesson a parent can teach. What's that? No is a complete sentence. I smiled. Small. First time in weeks. My wife used to say that. Silence. Comfortable silence. Thank you, Patricia, for everything. Thank your dad, she said. He taught me that loyalty is a two-way street. We sat there, two people in a car. Autumn leaves falling on the windshield, no words needed. November 1st. The Columbus Dispatch published a follow-up article. Headline: Lawsuit against retired electrician dismissed. Judge criticizes entitled son. The article quoted Judge Chen's comments, mentioned the $290,000 in documented gifts, mentioned the counterclaim for unpaid labor. Public reaction shifted overnight.
The Columbus Community Forum on Facebook exploded. Someone posted November 1st. Remember that electrician being sued? Turns out the son was the problem. Greg Taylor is a stand-up guy. 230 comments, all supportive of me. Natalie's Instagram response was swift. November 2nd, she deleted all 3 posts about toxic family. November 3rd, she posted a vague quote. Sometimes we learn lessons the hard way. Prayer hands emoji. No specifics. She lost 1,200 followers over 2 weeks. People called her out in the DMs. She made her account private November 10th. The architecture firm wasn't happy. November 6th, senior partner at Morrison & Blake called Evan into his office. Daria heard about it through a mutual friend. The partner said, "We need to talk about the lawsuit. Clients are asking about the architect who sued his dad." They didn't fire him, but they removed him from client-facing projects for 6 months.
Lost bonuses, approximately $15,000 for Q for 2024. December 2nd. Evan was quietly removed from the Columbus AIA Committee, American Institute of Architects. By mutual agreement, they said. Unofficially, other members were uncomfortable after the judge's comments went public. His social circle shrank too. 2 of his 3 character witnesses, Ryan and Justin, stopped returning his calls. Kyle Anderson texted him November 10th. "Man, I didn't know the whole story. I feel like you used me." The Architectural Digest opportunity disappeared. Evan had been in talks for a second feature, Modern Office Design. The magazine pulled out November 15th. "We're going in a different direction." His marriage showed cracks. Daria heard from a mutual friend. Evan and Natalie were arguing constantly. "You said this would work. You said he'd cave." "I didn't think he'd actually fight back." "Well, he did, and now we're the villains." Saint.
Mark's Lutheran had a different
Atmosphere the next Sunday, November 10th. Pastor Jim mentioned me in his sermon. No name, but everyone knew. A man in our congregation recently stood up for his principles. That's faithfulness. 3 families apologized to me personally after service. "We're sorry we doubted you, Greg. We should have known better." I shook their hands. "It's okay. You didn't have all the facts." December 15th, Local 683 hosted an appreciation dinner for me. Union Hall. 60 people attended. Current members, retired members. They presented me with a plaque. For 35 years of service and a lifetime of integrity. The current business manager gave a speech. Greg Taylor taught us, your work speaks louder than your words, and his work on the job and in his life speaks volumes. Then I made my announcement.
I'm donating the $1,600,000 from Bill, Ed, Tom, and Jerry to the local 683 Apprenticeship Fund. Standing ovation. 2 minutes straight. The fund was renamed the Four Brothers Apprenticeship Fund. It will fund 20 to 25 apprentices over the next 10 years. January 2025. The local news ran a feature. Retired electrician donates $1.6 million to train next generation. 300 positive comments online. I was at my kitchen table reading them when Daria called. "Dad, you're famous." I laughed. "I'm not famous. I just did the right thing." December 10th, 2024. A cashier's check arrived in the mail. $19,800. From Evan. No note. No apology. I deposited it. Then donated the entire amount to St. Mark's Building Fund. Electrical upgrades. Thanksgiving 2024. Daria hosted. I attended. Evan and Natalie didn't bring Mason and Harper. Christmas, no contact. Daria's twins' 3rd birthday, January 2025. We invited Evan and Natalie. They didn't come. Then, February 2nd, 2025. 11:47 p.m. A text from Evan. "Dad, I've been thinking about what you said. I'm not ready to talk yet, but I wanted you to know I'm thinking." I read it 3 times before responding. Next morning I typed, "I'm here when you are." No further contact as of today. October 2025. Daria's assessment, March 2025. He's embarrassed, Dad. It might take years, but maybe he'll get there. I hope so, I said. But I'm not holding my breath. I'm just living my life. Spring 2025 through now. I semi-returned to Taylor & Sons Electric, consulting 10 hours a week, mentoring 2 new apprentices, both women, 19 and 23 years old. Company revenue grew 12% in 2025. My reputation boost helped. Personal life improved too. I visit Daria's twins every Tuesday. Papa Day, they call it. I joined the Union Retirees Breakfast Club, Saturdays 8 a.m., same diner every week. I took an online class, estate planning, to help other union members avoid family disputes. 2 relatives asked me for money this year. A cousin, a nephew. I said no, politely, firmly. I use the same line. I'll help with tools. I won't help with debt. I sleep better now, first time in 5 years. I still have grief over Evan, but not guilt. June 2025, I told Daria, I did the right thing. It still hurts. Both can be true. August 2025, symbolic moment. I framed the blueprint. Evan's signature visible. Dad, you're a lifesaver. Hung it in my workshop. Not as a trophy, as a reminder. I built something, and no one can take that away. It's been almost a year since that text, since Evan demanded $1,200,000 and I said no. People ask me, do you regret it? The answer is complicated. I don't regret the boundary. I don't regret standing up. I don't regret proving that my work, my life, had value. But I regret that it came to this. I regret that my son thought love was measured in dollars. I regret that I waited so long to say no that when I finally did, it felt like betrayal to him. The truth is, I didn't teach him boundaries early enough. I taught him rescue, and rescue without boundaries becomes entitlement. So yeah, I have regrets. But saying no, that's not one of them. Pause. Evan hasn't apologized. He might never. And I've made peace with that, because I can't control his choices. I can only control mine, and I chose my dignity. If you're a parent, especially if you're helping adult children financially, write it down. Every gift, every loan, every expectation. I kept that red binder for 11 years. It saved me. Memory fades. Ink doesn't. Gratitude evaporates. Documents don't.
Evan thought fairness meant identical dollar amounts. But fairness is responding to need, not demand. Daria needed help to have children. Evan wanted help to maintain a lifestyle. One is compassion, the other is enabling. And I'm done confusing the two. The hardest thing I've ever done was say no to my son. Harder than working double shifts after my wife died. Harder than watching her funeral from the front pew. Harder than anything. But no isn't rejection. No is a boundary, and boundaries are how love survives. I told Evan, I loved you enough to say no. I meant it. I'm 62 now, officially a senior citizen as of last month. I've got my health, my home, my daughter, my grandkids, my work. I've got the 4 brothers fun training kids who remind me of myself at 19. Hungry, capable, underestimated. I've got union brothers who show up on my porch with casseroles and beer when things get hard. I've got Daria calling me every Sunday just to check in.
I've got my dignity. And if Evan ever decides he wants a relationship based on respect instead of resentment, I'll be here. Not with my checkbook, with my time, my presence, my wisdom, the things that actually matter. If you're watching this and you're in a similar situation, being pressured by family, guilted into giving money you can't afford, told you're toxic for setting boundaries, I want you to hear this. You are not the bad guy for saying no. You are not selfish for protecting what you've built. You are not obligated to bankrupt yourself to prove your love. Write it down. Document it. Get it notarized if you have to. And when the pressure comes, and it will come, stand firm. Because the people who truly love you will respect your boundaries. The ones who don't, they were never loving you. They were using you. My name is Gregory Taylor. I'm a retired union electrician from Columbus, Ohio. I said no to my son's $1.2 million demand. And I'd do it again. Thanks for listening. If this story resonated with you, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. And if you've set a boundary that changed your life, I'd love to hear about it. Take care of yourselves. And remember, you can't wire a house without a solid ground. Same goes for relationships.